Graveyards and cemeteries are burial grounds and are mostly considered creepy places. Many of them have spooky stories of paranormal activities and encounters involved. This is quite natural, considering the fact that the burial ground is all about the dead and the unknown.
I was 5 when my parents took me there, and I started to cry.
But the spine-tingling creepy factor of burial ground is not solely tied to spooky sightings. Many are known for their strange decorations, architecture, or history that set a haunting ambience that hardly has anything to do with ghostly experiences, but sets a mysterious, scary mood. Let us take a look at some of the creepiest cemeteries of graveyards in the world. Top 5 creepiest cemeteries and graveyards. Before we go to this video, make sure you subscribe GIDEON Films Top 5 and press the bell icon and turn on the notification to all so that you don't miss our upcoming videos that we upload. At number 5, Recoleta Cemetery.
Recoleta Cemetery, and strangely enough, it's actually one of the main things to do here in Buenos Aires, just because it's so beautiful. The sculptures are beautiful, and a few famous people from Buenos Aires are buried here, so it's a really popular tourist destination. You can get tours.
Located in the famous Recoleta neighborhood of the Buenos Aires, Argentina, Recoleta Cemeteries counts as one of the leading tourist attractions of the Buenos Aires.
But it's very interesting because it just feels like a whole city by itself. There's a lot of statues and a broken mausoleum that you could actually look in, and you can definitely see coffins, and some of them are small. So much about being rich and famous and get buried here in Recoleta Cemetery.
The new classical gates with all the Greek columns, late to 19th and 20th century. Funerary art comprising elaborate mausoleum and statues, all in a wide range of architecture styles.
These mausoleums start to fall apart because no family is claiming they're deceased, or everyone has died. So what they have to do is they'll leave them in this condition for I think 20 to 30 years, and if no one claims them, they will take the bodies out and put them in an unmarked grave somewhere else in the city, and they will actually sell these to another family.
The most interesting thing about the cemetery is sectional layout, with walkways branching into sidewalks like city blocks, except for the dead. At number 4, Gladiator Graveyards. In Ephesus of Turkey lies the Gladiator Graveyards. The first site to be scientifically authenticated as a cemetery for warriors of the Roman arenas. Remains of 67 individuals aged 20 to 30 with marks of multiple injuries from the repeated fights with wild animals, criminals, or each other, in which the athletic gladiators partook just for the sake of entertainment, have been found by archaeologists in the site.
This is the skeleton of a man who was aged between 26 and 35 when he died, and like many of the other skeletons found, he was decapitated. The cut is on his second cervical or neck vertebra, so it's actually quite high up, close to the skull, and it was delivered from above and behind, so sort of in this direction. It went through the bone, and you can still see that it left quite a smooth surface here, which means that it was made with probably with a bladed weapon.
It was first identified by gravestone drawings of individuals in gladiators' attire.
The neck vertebrae and elsewhere on the body suggests that they are perimortem injuries. Around the time of death, these injuries occurred. In some of the individuals, we've got multiple cut marks on the neck vertebrae and elsewhere around the skull area, suggesting these people were rather hacked around to get the head off. In my professional opinion, these people were executed by decapitation.
At number 3, Mary Graveyard. The Mary Graveyards in Sepenta of Romania perhaps derived its name from the intention stand alone, Petras in 1930.
In the small Romanian town of Sepența, when you die, you can expect a colorful farewell. But in the small town of Sepența, Romania, they share our views about death. Because if you want to see the humor or joy in dying, just take a walk in the Mary Cemetery.
To create a happy memory of the departed soul by carving his or her picture on a brightly colored wooden cross to mark the grave, often illustrating how the person died and accompanied by a short poem about person.
It's probably the most famous cemetery in Romania, but nobody in this cemetery is famous. This is just real people. It's a collection of real people. This comes together. And here, in a place where they bury people, they kind of celebrate life. We're in a small town just over the river from Ukraine, in the northernmost region of Romania, Maramuresh.
He thus captured memories of the Depression World War I and communist ragtime. Upon his death, he was given the brightest grave marker by his assistants. At number 2, Capuchin Catacombs.
The Catacombs is one of the places people should not miss because of its unique feeling. It's a catacomb dating back to the 16th century and originally started to be a cemetery for the Capuchin friars.
The Capuchin Catacombs in Palermo of Sicily displays the dead in dramatic manner by keeping corpses mummified and kept in their regular clothing in underground crypts. Since the 16th century,
around this time, one of their beloved monks died, and somebody had the brilliant idea to mummify him or embalm him in such a way that he looked still like him and place him down there in a little cove so that his brothers could go pray with him. This kind of started a tradition of other monks and nuns and priests being mummified and put down there for their fellow brothers and sisters to come down and pray with them. They would hold their hands, they would pray with them, they would spend time with them. It was kind of like still having that spiritual guidance of that person.
today about 8,000 mummies, including those of monks. The rich and the noble Palermo lined the walls.
One might say she's the jewel of the Palermo catacombs. One might say she's a mystery. One might even say she's iconic. Every day, the near perfectly preserved corpse of Rosalia opens her eyes and then shuts them.
The formula for mummification has been changed. The body of Rosila Lombardo, who died in 1920, being an excellent example of how well the new formula can preserve the body. Before we go to the number 1, make sure you subscribe Gideon Films Top 5 and press the bell icon and turn on the notification to all so that you don't miss our upcoming videos. At number 1, Highgate Cemetery. The Highgate Cemetery is a Victorian-era cemetery set across 37 acres of overgrown woodland of London in England. It has about 53,000 graves, 170,000 people buried there.
Highgate Cemetery is famous as the final resting place of political philosopher Karl Marx. When Marx died in 1883, just a handful of people attended his funeral. Now thousands of people visit his memorial every year.
The cemetery is also noted for de facto status as a nature reserve.
Mausoleum of Julius Beer, and it's all about the death of a little girl called Ada, who was 8. Her father was very, very distraught, and it is the most expensive piece of real estate in the entire cemetery. If you look at the ceiling as we go inside, you know, there's gold leaf, there's semi-precious stones. That's where your £3 million will go.
What's chilling about this cemetery? The spectacular status of people, animal, and angels, all reflecting the Victorian era of mission, with the ancient Egypt stand in varied levels of decay, highlighting both their fascination with morbidity
Graveyard do you think is the creepiest you saw in this video? Or you have visited any other creepiest graveyard? Tell us in the comment below. If you like this video, give a thumbs up, please share, and please don't forget to subscribe.